the vocative case. Vocative case is used when you directly address somebody, like when you call them by name. It actually comes, the word vocative, it actually comes from the word vocat, which means calls. We have the word revocat, which means to call back or recall. Vocat means calls. So, for example, when Aurelia told Marcus to get up, and she said, Marca, tempus est surgere. She was saying, Marcus, it's time to get up. Marca is vocative case. Another example of using vocative case would be, suppose that you are calling your dog in. Your dog was outside in the yard, and you say, Fido, here boy. Fido would be vocative case because you're calling him by name. And of course, Fido, being such a great dog, would come right away as soon as you called him. So let's take a look and see how we form the vocative case in Latin. The vocative case most of the time is going to look just like the nominative case. So for example, if I were calling Cornelia and said, Cornelia, time for lunch, Cornelia in the vocative would actually just be the same as the nominative. If I called Marcus and said, Marcus, time for lunch, because Marcus ends in a US, his vocative case would end in E. So when nouns end in US, they change to E in the vocative. If Aurelia was calling her husband Cornelius to come in for lunch, it's because his name ends in IUS, his vocative form looks like this, just an I, Corneli. And really any other ending besides a US or IUS is going to just be the same. So, for example, puer. If I said, boy, what are you doing? Puer also is just puer. So really it's just the nouns that end in US or IUS that change. And these, notice, are all singular examples. So now if we look at plural examples, you might call a bunch of girls and say, girls, it's time to settle in for bed. Well, that would just be puellae, same as the nominative. If you are calling a bunch of boys, same thing. Boys, stop running in the garden. That would also be the same as the nominative plural. And so really, anytime you have a plural vocative, it's going to be the same as the nominative. Let's do a third declension example. So matres means mothers. You might say, mothers, we're having a meeting in the forum. So if we called a group of mothers, that would also be matres, just like the nominative. So these are all plural examples.